Hola clase y buenas tardes. Ahora vamos a discutir la hora negativa. ¿Ok? Ya aprendemos la hora positiva. We've already done positive time. But before you go any further with this video, por favor, saquen los cuadernos. You guys should have a notebook in front of you. I want handwritten notes, so make sure you have something to write with as well. And the great thing about using videos to teach is that you can pause them at any time and you can rewind and go backwards if you missed something I said. So if you need your notebooks, pause and get your cuadernos ready and un bolígrafo para escribir. I will wait. Okay. So, la hora negativa. This is a bit different than la hora positiva. La hora positiva, we learned, was very much like how we tell time in English. Okay? So, make sure that for la hora positiva, we're only using this for our minutes from 1 to 30. Los minutos de 1 a 30. Once you hit 30, if you go past 30, then it's la hora negativa, which are los minutos de 31 a 59. So let me give you an illustration so you can kind of visualize it. Tengo el reloj. I made the little clock just like we did on the board the other day. I el lado de los minutos, okay, para la hora positiva. And the little green stripe is showing that from minutes 1 through 30, we move in this direction. We just add our minutes on. And we add our minutes on by using E, because E means and. Okay? So to give you an example of la hora positiva, let's try this equation. It is 3:10. Okay? You would tell me son las tres, because that's the time, the hour, and then you just say y 10. You just add the 10. So we say it's 3:10, and they say it's 3 and 10. Looks like this. Son las tres y 10. Okay? And I think that it's pretty easy to learn la hora positiva because there's really nothing different than it being in Spanish, more or less. They tell time the same we do in English. But then things change after you hit the halfway point on the clock. So la hora negativa. As you can see, the arrow is going in the opposite direction. And the other day, I made reference to the fact that if you're learning how to tell time in Spanish, you don't really need any numbers beyond 30. If you can count up through 30, then you can tell time. And I'm going to explain how. So, there are 3 simple steps that you should take when telling la hora negativa. Tres pasos, 3 steps. El primer paso. You are going to round up to the next available hour. I'm trying to make this take up the whole screen. There we go. Round up to the next available hour. What does that mean? ¿Qué significa, señora? Well, I'm going to tell you. So I have 3 different times. How do we know that these times are la hora negativa, not la hora positiva? Take a look at them. We have 5:31, 7:47, and 12:55. Easy. If you look at the minutos column, they are all higher than 30. 31 is greater than 30, 47 is greater than 30, 55 is greater than 30. You are in negative territory. So what does this rule mean? Round up to the next available hour. Well, taking a look at 5:31, what comes after 5 o'clock? The next available hour is 6 o'clock. And so for 7:47, round up, 8. And the last one. If we're at 12:55, in another 5 minutes, it's going to be 1 o'clock. And you should know how to express la hora, because that's one of the first things we learned. Okay? So instead of saying son las 5, I told you to round up to the next hour. So when you see 5:31, you're going to say instead son las 6. Instead of saying son las 7, you're going to round up to the next hour. You're going to say son las 8. And then for 12:55, why do you think I picked 12:55? I want you to remember a special rule that we learned yesterday. When you talk about what time it is, all of the hours take son las except for 1 o'clock times. So since we rounded up to 1, you should say not son las, but es la una. Okay? That's step 1. Primer paso. Round up to the next available hour. So, segundo paso. You need to remember that we're doing negativa. So instead of using E for adding minutes, we're subtracting. So use menos instead of E. Okay. Now, I want to stick with this 5:31 time and take you through all the steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this card and we're just going to focus on 5:31 as our example. So primer paso, we round it up to the next available hour. Instead of saying it's 5, you say it's 6. Second step, you're going to use menos instead of E. So I took it's 5:31 and I said son las 6 menos. Don't use E. Okay, because we're going in the reverse direction. This arrow is not adding minutes, it's subtracting minutes. And then we're almost there. Tercer paso. You're going to have to subtract the minutes from 60. Okay? So whatever you have in your minutes part of the digital time you're looking at, you are going to take that number and subtract from a full hour, which is 60 minutes. So we have trying to do this so that you can't see. No, it's too hard. Okay. It's 5:31. So we did step 1, son las 6, we rounded up. Step 2, use menos, don't use E. And then I just had to do a little bit of matemáticas. 60 minus the minutes, which in this case are 31, gives you 29 minutes. So what is that going to look like, all put together? Good question. It's going to look like, okay, like I said, we've been working with this one. It's 5:31 is going to look like son las 6 menos 29. So they call it 5:31 and we call it, well, I'm sorry, I messed that up. We call it in English 5:31. It's 5:31. They look at this digital time and they say, oh, son las 6 menos 29. It's 6 minus 29 minutes. So it's a bit of a backwards way of thinking for us, but it's very common to tell time this way in Western European countries. So this is how we learn it in French too. When I was a kid and I took Francés, they also subtract their minutes past 30. Just a little bit of simple math in your head. Okay? Son las 6 menos 29. So now that we have those rules down pat, let's go through and do some more. It's 7:45. So, first rule, primer paso. Round up to the next available hour. So instead of telling me it's 7, you're going to say son las 8. Okay? Step 2. Oh, sorry. You're going to subtract instead of add. So instead of saying y, you're going to say menos. 8 minus something. Son las 8 menos. And you take a look at this 45. And you subtract 60. You subtract 45 from 60. Subtract those minutes, the minutes column from the full 60-minute hour. And you get 15. Son las 8 menos 15. So we call it 7:45. They call it 8 o'clock minus 15 minutes because you land on the same place in the clock. It's the same thing, just said a little differently. Also, I'm not sure if you caught on to this 45, but there's a fancy name for this too. We learned quarter past, we learned half past, And now this one would be quarter of. So quarter of, you want to write in your notes. And quarter of in Spanish, I bet you know. Think for a minute. If y cuarto is and a quarter, how would you tell me a quarter shy of an hour? Instead of y cuarto, it's going to be menos cuarto, minus a quarter. Okay? So, son las 8 menos 15 o son las 8 menos cuarto son iguales. They're the same time, just said differently. Like some people like to say 7:45 and some people say 7:45. Okay? Otra hora. Let's try 2 more, guys. And then hopefully you'll have solidified this. Más rápidamente. Let's do it quicker. It's 10:56. Round the 10 up. I'm going to say son las 11. I'm going to use menos because this is la hora negativa. It's not la hora positiva. Okay. And then 56. So 60 minus 56 is 4. Son las 11 menos 4. We say it's 10:56. They say it's 11 minus 4 minutes. Okay? A little to get used to, but completely doable. And if you are one of those very observatory people, am I misspeaking? If you are observant people, I don't know what's wrong with me today, then you might have noticed we're missing something from our horas. I did not put AMs and PMs, but you guys want to remember those when you see them. Okay? Vamos a hacer una hora más. One more time. It's 12:39. Why did I pick this? Because I want you to round up to the next hour and realize that after 12 comes 1. So you don't say son las, you say es la una menos. Can I just tell you that writing on a million flashcards because you don't have a whiteboard at home is just wonderful. I actually do kind of like using markers, so it's kind of fun. 39, so you have to subtract 39 from 60. And because I'm so terrible at math, I have to like do it out. See? Señora, yo no soy perfecta. Oh, there's my cat. Okay. Just ignore her and pretend she's not there. Okay. Es la una menos 21. Okay? Es la una menos 21. So, we say it's 12:39. They say it's 1 o'clock minus 21 minutes. So, that sums up la hora negativa. You have notes to take and a little bit of practice that we did to kind of make this lesson cohesive. I hope that you're feeling good about it. But if not, you can always watch it again, and I will be posting up assignments and games for us to continue this lesson. Practice makes perfect. Gracias. So when you are done writing your notes in your notebooks, you need to take your phone. Necesitan tu teléfono y necesitan sacar una foto. You need to take a picture, and you guys need to attach that picture in the Google Classroom assignment. If you have any questions regarding this, you might want to write those down in the notebook and I can address them. Like I said, I didn't put the AMs and PMs because I wanted us just to focus on the lesson. All right, so que tengan buen fin de semana. Tenemos sábado y domingo para descansar. We have Saturday and Sunday, the whole weekend, to relax. All right, nos vemos el lunes.